creating your own custom profile is fundamental to getting the most from the Reprofile tool. This comprehensive tutorial takes you through the process, highlighting the wide-ranging creative options available. I will be demonstrating the new profiles on this sample playing card style artwork, applying profiles to the concentric circles. To assist in my creation of geometric profiles, I will both show and snap to grid in the document, both available via the View menu. When creating a profile, you have to consider what you are replacing. This segment represents an underlying path you are applying a profile to, albeit straightened out. Now, if I draw a simple open path with some basic design elements beneath it using Inkscribe, you can see the left-hand point on the lower path will replace the starting stage on the path we will apply the profile to, and the right-hand point will replace the ending stage. Extending the Reprofile panel, before enabling the tool, I will first select the new design and then return to enable the Reprofile tool. I can then click on the plus icon button at the bottom of the panel to create a new profile based on the current selection. This opens the Profile Attributes dialog. At the top of the dialog is a representation of the path that will be converted into a new profile. Without considering the other options, I will provide a basic name for the new profile and click OK. Back in the Reprofile panel, the new profile is now listed and automatically selected for use by the tool. In looped mode, with the Option Alt key modifier held down, I can apply the new profile to one of the concentric circles. It looks as expected. I will undo that and consider something a little more involved. The Reprofile tool is intelligent enough to work with multiple paths when defining a profile. I will take the original simple line I drew earlier and replicate it twice so that I have 3 parallel lines. Switching to Inkscribe, I can edit the top and bottom lines so that they feature design elements. This new selection of 3 separate open paths will form the basis of the new profile. Re-enabling the Reprofile panel and clicking the button to create the new profile, I will first provide a name. Next, looking at the profile preview at the top of the dialog, I can see that the center line is highlighted in red, whilst the upper and lower paths are black. The red highlight indicates which path is the key path. The key path is the open path that extends the entire width of the profile. It has to be the longest or one of the longest open paths in the selection when creating a new profile. The tool will automatically pick a suitable open path and warn if the artwork doesn't contain an open path that extends the entire width of the potential profile. If that is the case, you will need to cancel this dialog, modify your selection and try again. If more than one path present in the selection is suitable to becoming the key path, left and right arrow buttons allow you to cycle through the selection to pick the key path. As the key path represents the relative position of the profile that the tool will replace an underlying path with, altering it in this case will either centralize the profile or make the profile appear above or below the path you're applying the profile to. I will ignore the other options once more and click on OK to create the profile, which becomes available in the Reprofile panel. Applying this new parallel profile to the thicker stroke concentric circle makes for a great result. Examining what's been produced, I first need to release the compound path and group that's been automatically generated via the right-click context-sensitive menu. It's now possible to see that each of the resultant paths are very clean with a minimum number of points, ensuring they remain highly editable by all other tools. Profiles don't have to be linear, they can twist and loop. I'll create a new ancient Roman style profile with the use of Inkscribe and grid snapping to ensure consistent distances between paths. Just using straight segments, this open path is nearly complete. Even though the stepped difference in height between start and end point will work, it would mean that the profile is placed at an angle. Therefore, I bring the 2 first points up to align with the end points. With this complete, I can create a new profile once more. It's possible at this stage to add the new profile to any of the categories that already exist. I'll stick to the user category. I can always return to editing the defaults for a profile at any stage in the future, but I feel that the values derived from the path I've just drawn will be oversized for the artwork I'm going to apply it to, so I'll reduce both the height and repeat default values in anticipation. Also, the break option suits highly geometric profiles such as this, which don't necessarily look good warped around sharp corners. With that set, I'll OK the creation of the new profile. Returning to the artwork, I'll apply this profile to the thick concentric circle and use the default values to define its height and repeat attributes. It looks good, but by default it draws the profile on the inside of closed paths, such as this circle. It's hard to determine whether a new profile will draw by default on the inside or outside of a path, as it depends both on how the profile is drawn and the direction of the path being applied to. But as an example, I'll double-click on the new profile to edit the default height value to be negative, thereby ensuring it's drawn on the outside in this instance. We'll leave that result in place this time and start to look at another level of new profile containing different elements. I'll copy the straight segment as a basis of the new key path and call upon the Dynamic Shapes tool to quickly draw a cloud. Note that this is a simple closed path element, not an open path. Next, I'll draw a couple of circles and use Subscribe's perpendicular line tool to quickly draw some rays of light to represent the sun. When drawing profile geometry, note that stroke weight, color, and other attributes are discarded in the profile creation process. The Reprofile tool only really cares for path geometry. If stroke weights are important to a correct result, you would first need to outline the stroke before attempting to create a profile. Now that I have my new profile artwork, I'll select the elements which has to include an open key path. This selection also contains the simple closed path of the cloud and the group for the sun with its rays. There's no need to group the overall selection together before making a new profile. Opening the Profile Attributes dialog once more, I can see all elements are previewed. This time I'm going to opt to suppress the key path. In the preview, this changes the highlighted path to a green dash. The suppress option will ensure that the key path is used as the basis for positioning the profile around the targeted path, but will be excluded from the result. Applying this new profile to another concentric circle, I can drag the profile in or out to visually ensure that the circle in the sun graphic element doesn't look squashed. Having perfected the look, I can see the height value is nearly exactly 20 pixels with a repeat value of 50 pixels. To ensure that this look can be replicated elsewhere, I'll edit the profile before applying it so that the default values for the profile reflect this. Clicking on the Use Defaults button confirms that the new values will be perfect for each future application of this profile. Once the profile is applied, as the result is all standard artwork of open and closed paths as per the original profile design, I can apply and edit fill and stroke colours as well as tweak stroke weights as normal. Zooming in a little, notice how the original circular path has been automatically removed in the process. This is because the key path was suppressed. I'll undo that once more and revert to the original concentric circle and start with the final profile. By revealing the top layer, I can see a pre-typed editable text line defined using a common Dingbats font and characters. I will space each character out a little more using the native character panel. Instead of expanding the editable text before creating the profile, I will simply click on the Reprofile panel's Profile Creation button. It is possible to create a new profile based directly on a single line of editable text, which proves to be a big time saver, especially as the key path is automatically defined in the correct baseline position and suppressed by default. Each character is automatically outlined in the process. Having already provided a suitable profile name, I'll now reduce the default height and repeat values as they will be a little large for the artwork I'm applying the profile to. Then I'll enable the break option. Profiles based on editable text are also automatically added to a text category. I could create a new, more suitable category, but I'll switch it back to the same user category I've been using until now. Pulling the new profile out on one of the circles, I will again make a mental note of the optimum height value for the given repeat value and tweak the defaults for the profile for future reference. Applying the profile demonstrates how good the Reprofile tool is at warping previously editable text around a given path. The final result is no longer editable text, but the pure paths are once more easy to colour and edit. Before ending this tutorial, you may be interested to learn that you can extract any existing profile to the artboard to edit further, with a view to creating a new profile variant. Astute Graphics supply customers with numerous profile packs to examine, but for this demonstration, I'll simply place the loopy sample profile onto the artboard and perform a small edit. I have now demonstrated how flexible and powerful custom profile creations in the Reprofile tool is. The best way to learn is to simply play and experiment with the tools and its functionality to produce artwork unique and perfect for your needs.